It is 1:01. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. NFL owners meetings are underway in West Palm Beach, Florida, and the NFL has announced some rule changes for the 2025 season. Both teams will now get possession of the football in an overtime period during the regular season, and the spot of a touchback on kickoffs has been moved from the 30 to the 35-yard line. The discussion regarding a ban of the tush-push play popularized by the Philadelphia Eagles has been tabled by the owners for a later date. In Titans news, the team is bringing back special teams ace Justin Hardy. According to reports, Hardy joined the Titans during the 2024 season and played in 9 games with the team, making 3 tackles on special teams. The Tennessee baseball team back in action tonight as they host Tennessee Tech at Lindsey Nelson Stadium for a midweek matchup. First pitch for that game is at 5 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. The owners' meeting is underway in West Palm Beach.
The Breakers.
Yep, the Breakers. So the donuts are $50 down at the Breakers.
I've been there a handful of times.
Yeah,
my wife scheduled that.
Yeah, well, this sounds pretty expensive to go down to at least that particular hotel.
Oh no, it's high end.
Yeah,
because they feel like you're in overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
But
Buck spent $50 on a donut, a blueberry donut. He's not staying at the hotel, but he said the hotel's upwards of $3,000 a night.
It's ridiculous.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's not even worth it in my opinion.
And I've been down to West Palm Beach a few times. I don't even know where it's at.
Once you get past that, you be like, I don't want to go there anymore.
It's kind of like a bottle of wine to me.
Yes, there you go.
I understand that you get to a certain point. The more you pay for a bottle of wine, unless you're a sommelier, you're not going to be able to taste the difference, right?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Well, just who I am, the $20 bottle of wine tastes just as good as the $120 bottle of
sometimes
wine.
It does.
$400. So, hey, man, maybe I just, I'm not good at what's really good and what's not.
And we're just basic men's of need.
Exactly.
Don't need anything more than that. We're not spending $200 on jeans and $50 on donuts.
No, definitely not. no, that's ridiculous.
How big does the donut have to be for you to spend $50 on?
I think it was probably really tiny.
You think it probably was? It was served on a little plate.
Like a cheese square.
Yeah.
Size of that table that y'all are sitting at.
Just insane. I will always be amazed at the prices of certain things that people want to spend money on. And I'm a guy that spends money on food, but $50 for a donut, it better come with like caviar and a steak on top of it as well.
I had me a donut from the gas station today, $1.
Yeah, I'm a gas station. Listen, I eat gas station food.
Watch this. I was a little disappointed because they increased it to $1.50, and I was like, "What? When did this happen?"
Yeah. Do you all eat a lot of gas station food? I'm a big gas station food connoisseur.
No, not really. That's probably the only thing I get there. And every now and then I give me a hot dog.
Yeah,
they got some good dogs, and maybe coffee every here and there.
What about you?
I got to be careful.
Jackson?
Like if I'm driving somewhere like out of town, then that's when I got to be real careful. But when I know, what the gas station is and go there regularly, I'm fine.
I'm not a huge gas station food guy, but Buc-ee's is the exception. I love
Buc-ee's
going to
that
Buc-ee's.
definitely all in there.
I like, so there's a couple places that have kolaches in the area, which is the bigger version of a pig in a blanket that are really good. And then I'll get, there's one place near in Goodlettsville where I'll stop off almost every day and pick something up either for breakfast or dinner. Or lunch.
I feel kind of weird now, now here the last 4 years, stopping at a gas station because my car doesn't take gas. And I know y'all thought I was going somewhere else. No, only because, I have a Tesla. So it's like, why am I going to the gas station? It feels really weird now. I hardly ever go to the gas station.
And I will say this, and Stoney brings it up in the F&M Bank chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Gas station egg rolls are king. They're really surprisingly good. And listen.
I have a friend who
I've had gas station sushi in Memphis of all places.
Oh no, definitely can't.
And I'm still here to tell the tale. So I'm
there's
just
no
saying.
way I could do the sushi at the gas station, Jackson.
I feel like that's what gets you denied for insurance.
I would be running to the gas restroom. Probably for sure.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question, and I'll start with you, Blaine. Because, I mean, you've been real big on special teams and the importance that it plays in the NFL and everything.
Yeah. And the higher.
Am I weird for just not caring about the kickoff rule and having returns all the time? Because they're trying to increase the returns, which, in my mind, I know that it's very well received by the public, right? The fans love the idea of more returns.
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm like, well, I thought we were all concerned about player safety because this seems like it would increase injuries. But I'm also a guy that says I could care less if there's returns. I'm fine with a game full of touchbacks. Am I crazy for that? Because I just want to get to the good part. I want to get to the offense and the defense.
Well, naturally, we're talking about rule changes.
Right.
So basically, they're still doing the kickoff from the same point and the same as far as the 10-yard rule, as far as the players with contact. That's where the safety part is, not actually the returners.
Yeah.
I don't think they
So it's going to modify the alignment requirement for the receiving team players in the setup zone,
So where
which,
is
by
that?
the way, the Tennessee Titans had problems with that. And even though nobody moved and they were the same as non-penalized stuff, and changes the dead ball spot after a touchback to the 35-yard line. If the ball lands in the end zone and is downed in the end zone by the receiving team or goes out of bounds behind the receiving team's goal line.
I would think that the kickoff, if you kick it back into the end zone, I'd be like, hey, man, we're just going to get it to 35.
Yeah.
This one here, I know they're trying to bring excitement and at the same time be safe. So we shall see what the rule is. I think now the NFL needs to buy what is it called? The XFL or UFL, whatever the merger that's owned by, The Rock. Anyway, they should continue to test rules just like they're doing with, as I said, they should. And I don't know if they're listening, but they now have 4 referees that are going to be case studies to help them continue to develop. They are currently NFL referees. So, if they think this rule and just continue just to steal the things that they like from there. I know they're never going to let us listen to the coach call plays and things of that nature. But, yeah, it's no skin off my back. I'm really not worried about it. They want to continue the excitement of the game, and they want it not to be boring, and they want it to be offensive-centric, and they want it to be entertainment. So all the rules have shifted to almost everything that helps the offense.
Yeah.
So if this is to help them get better field, I don't know. Even just like the tush push. I think that people, it's not safe. Well, there's no data to tell you that it is or isn't safe. But here's what I would say. This is one that's a crawl in my is why did they take the players on defense from pushing guys on the field goals?
Yeah.
But you can do it on offense and push the guy behind. But on field goals, you can't push the guy, even if you're not over the center. You can't touch the other guy. What's the difference? There is none. There is none. So that shows you they're trying to make sure people don't get bored. They don't want to watch the 10-3 games no more like in my era. That's over. They want to see 24 or more points or it's a bad game.
Right.
Because guess what? People won't show up at the stadium. They want to see offensive input. Offense brings the tickets. Defense wins the championships.
There you go.
That's how the motto is set up, and that's what they live by. So they're trying to, accommodate the fan base and everybody else to keep that money train going.
What do you think about the overtime rules? They're going to where the regular season now matches the postseason, where both teams have an opportunity to possess the ball regardless of the outcome of the first possession. So and it's subject to obviously a 10-minute overtime period in the regular season. So are you on board with that?
Yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. When you like that with Jackson, I always thought the other team should get a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know why I felt that way. I just did.
I like it because I've always liked the college overtime. I think starting
that
from
how
the
college
25-yard line, I think it's a really fun overtime. I don't like the new 2-point once you get into like the third or the fourth overtime now in college, but I like that both teams are going to get the ball. I think it's going to make it more interesting.
I wish it was the 25-yard line rule. I'm with you.
I love that rule.
I think that's a great rule. And I'm with you. I don't like the 2-point conversion. After it gets to a certain point, you're just throwing 2-point haymakers at each other. And
So difference, they kick off in the pros.
yeah.
You got to drive the length of the field.
Yeah, which I'm okay with too. But I mean, I think that if you're trying to maybe make the game quicker, because they may be making the game slower with another rule, but if you're trying to make the game quicker and more exciting, I kind of feel like the excitement comes with that 25-yard line overtime, because you're like, you may only have 4 plays. Over here, you're kind of like driving the length of the field. You may have time to go, use the restroom or get coffee or something. To me, I think it provides that shortened field provides more excitement.
Yeah, I do completely agree with both of you guys, but I'm going to tell you what I think the NFL is thinking. I think they think we don't care about the length at that point in time when it goes overtime, because guess what? We know you want to see who's going to win.
That's true.
And so here's why I think that's why they're doing this instead of copying. Remember this now.
Yeah.
The NFL don't like to copy
That's true.
the rules from college. They will not, and they want to distinguish themselves to be different. That's why they will not do that rule, even though I do like the college rule.
Although the 2-point conversion rule was fun with Georgia Tech this past season.
Yeah, it's true. It was fun. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about 2 more rules that really actually impact the game in a pretty significant way. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone.
Hey, folks, I've been talking about Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance for years because they're the leading experts in sports medicine and performance and the team physician for the NFL, college, and high school athletics across Tennessee. And TOA provides sports medicine coverage to more high school and college sports teams than any orthopedic group in the state of Tennessee. They have 29 locations throughout the state and over 100 physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. And TOA has 11 urgent care locations with walk-in availability 7 days a week. They offer direct access to sports medicine and performance, physical therapy, and nutrition, personalized rehabilitation plans to enhance mobility, reduce pain, and improve overall physical function for patients recovering from injuries or surgeries. And TOA also offers sports performance training, a specialized program designed to enhance athletic performance and provide tailored training solutions for athletes at all levels. And all you have to do is go to TOA.com. Yes, that's TOA.com.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We've been talking some NFL rule changes. We're going to talk about a few more, but we want to hear from you. Whether you're on the F&M Bank chat on Zone TV, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, or you want to call in, 615-737-1045. What is the rule the one rule, you're only going to get one. What is the one rule you would like to see changed in the NFL? It could be one that just got recently changed and you disagree with, but what is the one rule you would like to see adjusted or changed in the NFL? And we'll give you ours in just a moment. But first, just real quick, they're going to be using Sony Skyhawk technology or Hawkeye technology. Is that right? To basically be able to help the referee spot the ball more accurately. Been a long time coming. Now, I talked to Zebra's technology, which is totally different from this technology, and he talked about how it's going to be very difficult in inexact science because first off, you have to figure out how many sensors you add to the ball or however they're going to do it, but because you're still not going to be able to maybe see when the knees are down. So this is going to be kind of a inexact science, but they're at least going to test run it and see how it goes. So what are your thoughts on that?
Season?
For this season.
Oh, that to me, that's backwards. They should have done that in the XFL or something.
Yeah.
No, we don't want a case study in live games impacting games. That to me, they should just buy the league and test everything there.
The other one
the Titans could lose a game because of that.
They could. They probably will. If any team's going to lose a game because of this technology,
all the help we can get.
It's going to be the Tennessee Titans.
Hopefully that'd be in our favor. But geez.
And then the other rule is Okay, let me try to find it here. To expand instant replay's ability to advise the on-field officials on specific objective aspects of a play and to address game administration issues when clear and obvious video evidence is present.
So what this really means is if they throw a flag and it was a bad call, they can pick it up.
They can pick it up.
I mean,
and now a lot of people think this may...
I mean, you see that?
Yeah.
That was like lawyer talk, man.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Yeah.
It's the bylaws, subsection B,
this is
category
the
C.
exact bylaws, by the way.
This is why people can't understand the rules.
The ability to advise. So basically what it's saying is, and Buck kind of alluded to this and heard some grumblings around there, is that it's basically that it's going to encourage people or encourage refs to throw the flag more often. So does it slow down the game? Well, I will say this. When you hear Mike Pereira come on or whoever's the rule analyst on these shows, they know like that.
Yep.
They have a better angle than the refs on the view. So I'm not as concerned that's really going to slow down the game like people think. I don't think the pace of the play of an entire game is going to be really affected. But if there is no flag thrown, it does not help with that. So that is interesting. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I would concur with all of that. It'll be interesting to see if they more freely throw flags now, and then if it does impact the time. I don't think it will, because quickly those guys who know all the rules, and I've only seen it one time when they've gotten it wrong, really, and watching all the games I'm watching, and so it's kind of fascinating. I'm always intrigued because I always feel like I'm learning something about the rule book almost every time, especially about a play that you hardly ever see. So I hope they don't just throw flags for holding, so they can they can come back and say the guy went holding. I'm talking about more offensive linemen, not DBs, anything like that that's out in the clear open. So that will be something to watch. But maybe
the pass interference calls that get called, they'll be like, oh, well, the guy up in the booth, in instant replay booth, will say, oh, that wasn't the egregious, that wasn't pass interference. So it could be a bunch of different situations, face masks, all that kind of stuff will be
because there was a couple times they missed face masks on the tight.
But see, the problem is if they don't throw it, you don't get it.
You can't challenge it?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's challengeable. At least not according to this lawyer jargon.
I'm going to get the games to 4 hours.
Yeah.
They're going to fire me, man.
All right. Speaking of rule changes, we want to hear from you, 615-737-1045. What is the one rule you want to see changed? We're going to give you ours, but we're going to go to Leon first, who's been waiting. Leon, what is the one rule you want to see changed?
Ooh.
How you doing, guys? So this is one that I know will never, ever happen, but let's up the degree of difficulty on scoring. So let's eliminate the extra point kick, and instead you have the option of going for it from the 2-yard line and getting 2 points, going for it from the 5-yard line and getting 3 points, or going for it from the 10-yard line and getting 4 points. I feel like you'll never really have an overtime game with this method, because I don't think everybody's going to always convert those. Or it could be dramatic at the end if somebody's down by 4 points and decide to go for it at the 10-yard line and force overtime that way. I mean, come on, guys. That's more dramatic than just a plain on extra kick. So
what about going for it on the 1-yard line and getting 1 point?
No, that's too easy.
That's too easy?
We want to make it more difficult.
Yeah,
all right.
They ain't not gonna make it more difficult, but I do like this idea, and I would toy with
Leon.
this in the XFL, man. I like, or something similar to that. What do you think, Jackson? I mean, that was pretty cool.
I like it. I think it'd be interesting. It's a lot like the. Did y'all ever play NFL Blitz back in the day?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's how they would do it. So it reminds me of that old video game.
Yeah, because because you feel like being a former player when you're in a game and you're down by 4 and there's 2 minutes left, and then if you have a chance to get those 4 points on going for it, oh man, that'd keep the interest not only of the players and the coaches, but actually the fans. They won't leave and go, there's no way they can get 4
Think
points.
of all the strategy and data. Now I'm getting into the nerd
look
stuff
at
on
you.
it. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
All that kind of
I
stuff.
think that'd be cool. I say, yeah, something to that effect, yeah. But I don't know if that.
Okay, so in the F&M Bank chat on Zone TV, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, Lonzo Wright says change the kickoff new rule. So I guess he wants to go eliminate the new rule. Pass interference should be a 15-yard penalty and not a spot foul. And Blaine, that was yours.
Yeah.
So tell the people why that one is yours.
Man, well, first of all, because I was a defensive back and I called me 50 million times. But, I mean, because the receivers can actually draw contact even if you're looking for the ball, and some referees are going to call pass interference. And for me, I would use that as a weapon when I'm looking back, but I would hit his arm and leg to slow him down. So now he's my speed and it's incidental contact. And so if I'm looking, then you can't call it. And so what would happen is then the receivers would then run into you and then fall and say, hey, he impeded my, trajectory where I wanted to go. Well, I was there first. So I'm definitely 15-yard penalty. I've always been that way. It could change a whole game just by just throwing it up there right before half and we're on the 5-yard line. Then you get one more play and you could score a touchdown. So I've been an advocate for that for years. They'll never change that.
It was funny is because that's the one I said too initially, and you're like, yes, that's the one I would say. So just thought it was pretty interesting. I am with you. To me, it's like I think college got it right. It should just be
15
a spot.
yards, right?
I mean, just 15 yards. 15. No spot foul. 15 yards.
Crap.
That's exactly what it should be. That's what it needs to be.
I need to go back and see how many games
That is giving the offense way too much of an advantage. And really, this goes into Nick Ewing on the chat. He says need to call more offensive pass interference because, again, the defensive pass interference is so prevalent, they miss a lot of the offensive pass interference calls.
They don't even call them.
Let's go to Steve on the phone line. Steve, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. I am a college and high school official here in the state of Tennessee. I can't tell you which conferences, of course, but what I can say is the rule that we would love to see changed is the targeting rule.
That's a good one. I thought about that one.
What is the rule in high school?
I'm sorry?
How's the rule in high school in targeting?
It's similar to the college, which, as you know, is similar to the NFL. But my point is, the way it's written, you almost have to bend over, look down at your cleats, where the flat spot of your helmet is facing downward. Then you have to lunge, leave your feet. You must be airborne when you make contact with another player, and you must make contact with his helmet when you can't even see him. You are looking straight at your cleats. You have to be looking straight down and make contact with the crown or top of your helmet where you can't even see the contact taking place. Now, are we calling it that way? No. But that's the way it's actually written in the book for the crown of the helmet, and it needs to be changed. I'll hang up and listen to you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Love the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that because what happens is, what if you hit a guy with your shoulder, but then your helmet then touches his helmet based off the contact?
How many
That what
crap
happens
targeting
on-
bull?
And I'm like, oh my God, that's
calls have
not
we seen?
targeting.
Yeah.
That's
Then there's a lot of stuff like, to me, there's a lot of stuff like that changes once you are in air, right?
Yeah.
Or once you are going for the tackle, the other person is reacting to you.
right.
And they're maybe putting themselves in harm's way when that was not your initial intention when you started to go for the tackle.
Absolutely.
And so to me, I think that there has got to be listen, I'm all for player safety.
Yes,
but this is
me too.
also a game of violence and a game of speed that stuff happens in microseconds that you can't physically react to when you're already in a certain position. So I definitely think that this possibly needs to be something changed within this rule. Remember Mike Brown last year? Remember he got scared. He
hit
didn't
somebody.
leave his feet.
Yeah.
Then he got scared
Didn't even
for
not.
defenseless hitting a defenseless receiver. So there is no consistency in that rule, and I think that's really, really tough to, if you don't have it a little bit more ironed out, it's really tough. And then if you don't allow for a little bit of human error, now there you can tell when someone is like Vontez Burfict when it was Chad Johnson going across the middle, and then it was Antonio Brown, I guess, across the middle. But you can tell when stuff like that is happening. So to me, we got to be a little bit less, I guess, aggressive in the nature of calling of this targeting rule.
I have to add to that, though. What do you guys think when a running back, being that I was a former running back, I would do this all the time. When I get square and I'm going down the hole, I put my head down, and then I'm the one now leading the missile attack. And then the guy's coming to tackle me, and he's like, well, dang, I didn't put my head down until the last minute. And he already had his head down to run into my
Well,
head.
think how small these running backs are now. That's my thing, is that these running backs are so small in stature that now you're going down even further. Where are you supposed to be able to tackle them? I mean, I can, as a guy that's 5'8", I can get pretty low and and not lose momentum and shrink your target area.
Yeah, that was the reason for it. Yeah.
Jackson?
I think that's outlawed now, right? Isn't that a
Well,
penalty?
they tried to say it was, but then the players
I haven't
still do it.
seen
You talking about
anybody
the
do
offensive
it.
guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
They
seen
rarely
anybody call it.
Yeah. I remember it messed up Michael Griffin when he was hitting. He started missing guys because
Yeah.
he was getting fined $30,000. He's like, hey, man, last minute he's trying to pull up, and he's like, I would have hit him even though I wasn't trying to hit him with my head.
Right. Okay, so here's the rule that I would change. It's the ineligible receivers downfield rule. I'm going to the college rule. 1 yard. They sometimes don't even call this right, I feel like, but we're gonna move it up to 3 yards. The maximum yardage they could be downfield is 3 yards. Now Blaine, as a defender, hates it.
No,
But I am
No.
yeah, but I think
What'd you think?
but there's so many we already have struggled with offensive line development.
Yeah.
This is a big rule, I think, that could actually, again, if we're trying to score points and all this kind of stuff, this would help. It makes life a little bit harder on the defense, and that seems to be what all these rules do, is make life harder for the defense. But I'm going with the ineligible man downfield rule.
like
Needs to
that
go from
rule.
1 to 3.
Oh, my.
Make everyone an eligible receiver.
I like
I
it.
want to see center
my, you
screens in the
guys are-
NFL.
Yeah, center screens. Let's do it.
Oh, man. Here's why I do not like this rule. This is this is what made the hitman who he is today. I would read the uncovered lineman, because if you're down 1 yard, you take one step forward outside of 1 yard, now you're a legal man downfield. I will use this as my run pass keys, not the quarterback, not anything else, an uncovered lineman. That means a defensive lineman is not over him. They will be my key to tell me if it's run or pass. My first backpedal steps are slow, what you call read steps. Now I'm reading that uncovered lineman. And as soon as I see him come downfield, I know it's a run. Now I'm getting my eyes back to the backfield to see which way they're running and then where I feel. But if he takes that one fake step and then goes backwards, right, I know it's past, then do my read steps. Now I speed up my pedal to go. So this would screw me all up. And it does when I watch college football, because that RPO would give me heck off of that read right there. And it still does with guys in the NFL because they're not used to it because they fake right there in the gap for the linebacker and they throw right behind him. He has no choice but to honor the run game. So, I would not want that to happen. No way.
We're on a rule change topic. This is why I love this show, because you got a rule change topic, but you got X's and O's along with it from Blaine. I could sit there and listen to you talk X's and O's all day.
That was pet peeve right there, man. That would have screwed my whole game up.
Yeah.
It would have messed me up because I would be hesitant, and then it would have jacked me all up.
Let's go to Brian. Brian, what is the rule change you want to see in the NFL?
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Doing good. How are you?
I actually got two that I want to speak about. The first one is fourth down penalties on punts. Because if you get a penalty on a punt, the receiving team still gets the ball. That's kind of, I think the offense should get it back. And my second one is offensive face mask. Like on stiff arms, I can face mask you, but you can't face mask me on defense. Mm-hmm. So those are two things I think need to change, and I'll sit back and listen to you guys.
What do you think about those rules?
The first one I liked until I thought about it, and he says the offense should get the ball back. Now, if it happens pre-snap, like after the ball is snapped and they haven't punted the ball, I don't know, then it should go back to the offense. But if it happens on the field in the process of the guy returning, I don't think the offensive team should get the ball back.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think the only thing is the roughing the punter. I think that's really the, and I'm with you. I'm with it now.
I'm with you on that one.
I will say that I do think that if it's roughing the punter, are you okay with it being automatic first down?
Yeah.
On that, no matter what the down and distance is?
Yeah. I don't understand the rule of when they call roughing the punter or running into the kicker or punter because they're saying you're blocked into him, but sometimes it doesn't even look like the guy was blocked into him.
Yeah.
And they call running, then that means the other team still gets the ball.
Well, now they'll be able to review it because they can, once they throw that flag, they'll be able to review it.
Right.
That could change the dynamic.
What was the second one?
The offensive face mask. He thinks
I'm a big on that one. Yeah, they do it all the time. The runners are running, whether it's receiver, running back, and they grab the face mask. And it pisses me off.
There you go.
I try to just snap their finger off.
Does that mean that you're trying to move your head once you see the fingers inside your face mask?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the call.
Yeah. Is that what happened to your finger?
I got caught in somebody's face.
You did?
Yeah, Corey Dillon.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was rough sledding there.
Yeah.
Yeah, him, Jamal Lewis, and Bettis probably. They were pretty tough runners there. That's an understatement. They were a ton of load. They were a load.
Let's go to Darren, who wants to talk about his rule change. Darren, what do you got?
What's up, guys? So I applaud the NFL for addressing the overtime issue. I do think the 2 guaranteed possessions or 1 per team is a really good idea. I do have a couple problems with it. I think they should eliminate the coin toss. I think the last team to possess the ball should be on defense, simply because you give up an 8-minute scoring drive to lose the lead and give up the tie, and you're throwing your defense right back out there, which is really nullifying their goal of like making it the most exciting, fair result. And I do understand, Blaine, that defense is 50% of football, so you should be able to go out there and do your job. But I do think the coin toss should go. My second kink would be I don't like the 10-minute thing because of the average time of like drives in the NFL. If you're giving the second people to get the possession, maybe in the 2-minute drill by the time, they get the ball. So it really also nullifies kind of what their goal is with this, I'm assuming. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, man. Blaine, you're the man. 23 all day. Let's go.
Appreciate it.
There you go.
Kind of explain what he was saying, because to me, I put it on the defense. What didn't stop him?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of a defensive guy.
You should have stopped him.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Jackson, what you got?
My rule change would be, it's something that's done in the UFL now. I would make, instead of onside kicks, a 4th and 20 play. Because they're already putting restrictions on onside kicks. They're already you have to announce that you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. You can't do surprise onside kicks anymore. You can only do them in the fourth quarter, I believe, twice when you're trailing. So if we're going to put all these restrictions on it, might as well make it a more higher probability play and make these matter more, because right now they simply don't matter.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. I'm on board with that one. I think you had a good one there. Glad you found your water bottle, and glad you got a rule. All right. When we come back, we'll go to Bill and Steve. We'll hear their rule changes. We want to hear from you. 615-737-1045. What rule in the NFL would you change in the upcoming season? This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
We've got the trucks, all the trims, all the towing, all the bells and whistles, and all at Truck Month Savings. Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 if you want to get in on the conversation. And we're talking about rule changes we want to see on the NFL. We'll go to the F&M Bank chat on Zone TV, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. We got forward pass on kick return. Don't know what that technically means. Defensive pass interference should be a 15-yard penalty, so we got another vote for that one. So we're up to 5, I think, now on that. Each team should be allowed to designate one player who can swing a helmet once in each game. That comes from Stony Keeler. What do you think about that one?
I think Jackson's off for that one. I don't know about the swing for the helmets, but that would draw a lot of attention.
That would have raised, I don't know if you remember this, but last year, Jordan Jefferson, an LSU defensive lineman, did that at the Senior Bowl. Oh. He swung a helmet, so that would raise his draft. Yeah, at practice in the 101s. Yeah. So that would raise his draft stock if that was a rule. Yeah, you could have Jordan Jefferson out there swinging helmets.
I don't know about swinging helmets.
All right, let's go to Steve, who wants to talk about the rule change he would like to make. Steve, what you got?
The rule change I'd like to make is the 10-second runoff at the end of the game. Why am I being penalized because the booth questions the sideline catch with 30 seconds left, and I lose 10 seconds because my guy catches the ball, but you're confused and can't figure out if they did or didn't on the field, and they got to do a booth replay. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I could get rid of that.
No, I'm cool with that one.
Yeah.
No doubt.
615-737-1045 is the number. Blaine, so we're still talking about stuff that's going down at the meeting. They tabled the owners meeting. They tabled the banning of the tush push. So the tush push is still going to be going on, and it's still going to be a thing until the next owners meeting when they all convene. So where are you at on the tush push? Because there's a lot of people floating out there concerns about player safety, but it's really about the future of player safety because teams are going to start getting a little bit more aggressive to try and defend this, try new things. We saw Chris Jones in the Super Bowl hurt his neck off of it. So this idea, he wasn't designated with an injury, but he definitely looked like he got affected by it. So what are your thoughts on the tush push?
Yeah, it's a lot of people going to say, oh, well, there's no data about guys getting injured. I mean, man, this is a tough play. It's really a rugby play. That's where this all started. So if you want to let the offense, I'm cool with that. But then you got to let the defense do the same thing. As you were mentioning, some guys are going to start being a little more aggressive in how they approach this. And we're talking about coordinators and putting in different things. And defensive players could never touch their own teammates, even if for a blocked field goal. And now all of a sudden, offensive players can push guys, So I just think just make it a little bit even on that play. If not, then you got to get rid of it. I do applaud, though, the improvisation, of this play, and it's hard to stop. So then just let the defensive guys just come up with some way to try to stop it. So, I mean, so that, other than that, then, man, that there is tough. Those guys in the trenches, they're 320 plus pounds. You got to have a human torpedo type player, maybe like the guy from Florida, he's coming out and weighs 450 pounds. You get some big mammoth guy there, 2 of them. I think it'll be something to, watch because it did get stopped. I think who was the team that stopped it twice? Oh, man. Can't remember.
Well, the Commanders tried their best to stop it. Remember, they launched their safety, Jeremy Chin, over the top.
Yeah, that's
and he got a penalty for that.
Yeah, that's a Cathedral graduate, by the way, at my high school.
There you go.
Chin. And
he was getting a little creative with it.
Yeah.
And they I guess himself launching. I think it was early once, but then they kept trying it. I don't know. I think you should be allowed to do whatever you can to try and stop it. If they're going to be allowed to do what they're doing, you should be allowed to do whatever you need to do.
Cool with that.
Let's go to Bill in Lebanon, who wants to talk about his rule change. Bill, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Hey, guys. I'm 51. I've already had to have knee replacement.
Nope.
My biggest rule change is no artificial turf. If Arizona can do the grass and roll the grass in, turf is the absolute worst thing. They ought to outlaw turf and just have grass.
I like
And then
it.
another thing,
That's a little outside the box. I like it.
You got something?
another thing is make them freaking wear pads. Make them have knee pads and butt pads like we used to. Mouthpieces. They don't enforce. Used to, if you didn't have a mouthpiece, you got a 15-yard penalty. And now they wear 2 or 3 of them and don't wear them. It just don't make
Why do you want them to have butt pads and knee pads and mouthpiece?
enforce it. They don't even wear like the little bitty tiny shoulder pads now. Like no wonder that so many people get hurt.
Okay.
Make them wear pads, like thigh pads. Receivers don't even wear thigh pads anymore.
No, they don't.
Yeah. I'm with you on the turf. Not sure I'm more pad centric, but I will say this: all fullbacks should be required to wear a neck roll.
Neck rest.
There you go. What do you have, Jackson?
Blaine, did you always wear knee pads?
Oh, absolutely not. I didn't wear any pads, even in my era.
Now, is that just because they're not comfortable, flexibility, speed?
Well, for me, as time went on, my rookie year, I wore all the pads. Naturally, you're following all the rules. Then you start learning from the other players. They're cutting the pockets out that you put your pads in, and it looks like you just have on tights on. So that's what I did there, and no knee pads. They say, oh, you got to have knee pads. And I'd cut it in half and then put it there just in case I fell on directly on my knee, and maybe hopefully it would protect it. Then I just stopped even putting knee pads in there. So I don't wear any lower pads, let alone a butt pad of any kind. I did try to wear smaller pads. Just all for me was I wanted to feel fast, and I wanted to feel like I didn't have on pads, and that's exactly what I got out of it. Mouthpiece was a battle there with the training staff. Luckily for me, I did exactly what they said, do and keep a mouthpiece in.
Does today Blaine regret not wearing a lot of pads?
No.
No?
No. I don't have any lower body injuries. So I was lucky on that.
Do you find that because Jackson uses a butt pad behind the glass, you think a little bit less of him?
I do not.
Hey, man, it's funny, though. Some guys were real sticklers, and I don't, at the pro level, some guys will be just padded up all over the place, and you see them, and, they act like they never got touched in a game.
Did you call them bubble boys?
No. Like,
Michelin Mans?
What I'm thinking of is Curtis Martin. He wore pads. I mean, you couldn't even see his skin, like everywhere.
Yeah.
Knee pads. He looked like they say this is how you're supposed to dress. That's how he looked. And, man, he looks like he never even played a down. So, there is protection to the caller's point. So, but I was definitely been a DB. I wasn't in contact. I wasn't a running back. So I wasn't hitting every single play. I could go plays without touching someone, and then all of a sudden it happened. So very rarely was I getting hit on my lower body. Mine was all upper body. So
I remember, I played in high school. I remember the butt pads.
Yeah.
You had the pads. I think I even had pads on
I
both,
think
or maybe I'm thinking of the side pads.
I did wear the butt pad, but I would, string it through. That was the only thing I was wearing as far as lower body. Yeah. Eventually, I got to the point halfway through my career, I wasn't wearing any pads. None.
I had a buddy wear forearm pads in high school. They looked like shin guards, but they were on his forearm.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I wore a cast for 3 years in a row because I broke my forearm and kept playing. But I would put this steel shank on there after the referees would check my forearm, and the training staff was like, Blaine, we had nothing to do with that. I said, I know, but just help me tape it on here.
For the rest of the show, we want to hear what rule change you will have for the NFL that if you could make one, what rule would you change? When we come back, we'll talk about some of the stuff that Buck Reisen and the Titans general manager talked about while they were down
in his $50 donut.
In his $50 donut. We'll talk about what they had to say. We'll also talk about the PFF draft guide that dropped today and some interesting comparisons that they had in there. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Ever wonder how I keep my mojo? Well, hey, it's Blaine Bishop here. And if you're looking for the best tacos in town, you got to check out Mojo's Tacos. They've got 3 amazing locations, including my favorite spot in Nolensville. And Mojo's Tacos is where the magic happens. Whether you're craving their mouth-watering carne asada, delicious fish tacos, or their famous street corn, they've got it all. And don't forget to try their house-made salsa. And it's got a pack punch, and it's a hitman punch when it comes. And each location has a great vibe, perfect for family night or for catching up with your friends. Plus, their friendly staff will make you feel right at home. So head over to Mojo's Tacos and taste the difference. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Mojo's Tacos, 3 locations, 1 unforgettable experience.
It is 2:00 on the dot. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. NFL owners meetings are underway in West Palm Beach, Florida, and the NFL has announced some rule changes for the 2025 seasons. Both teams will now get possession of the football in an overtime period during the regular season, and the spot of a touchback on kickoffs has been moved from the 30 to the 35-yard line. The discussion regarding a ban of the tush-push play popularized by the Philadelphia Eagles has been tabled by the owners for a later date. In Titans news, the team is bringing back special teams ace Justin Hardy, according to reports. Hardy joined the Titans during the 2024 season and played in 9 games with the team, making 3 tackles on special teams. In NFL news, Patriots owner Robert Kraft announced today that Hall of Fame coach Bill Parcells will be inducted into the team's Hall of Fame. Parcells was the coach of the Patriots from 1993 to 1996, winning 1 AFC championship. The Tennessee baseball team back on the diamond tonight as they host Tennessee Tech at Lindsey Nelson Stadium for a midweek matchup. First pitch for that game is at 5 p.m. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045, with the owners' meetings wrapping up in West Palm Beach. What rule would you want to see changed in the NFL? We have 2 in the chat. The first one comes from Ricky W., F&M Bank Chat on Zone TV, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. My rule change would be give each coach 1 challenge of a penalty, a separate challenge of a penalty, 1 non-call or called penalty of any kind, even holding, you can challenge.
Oh, I kind of like that.
I like that one too. Wow. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't. He never said keep it separate, but I'm putting my own spin on it. It should be 1 separate challenge, separate from the other 3.
Okay.
Jack McCoffin, and someone else had said this earlier, and I meant to read it on the air, but I can't remember who it was. But I would change this rule. When a quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, he then can be hit like a running back. Also, I would change the field goal post, make it higher and shorter or something. I don't know about that one. But once the quarterback's in play, got to be treated like a running back. What do you think about that? I mean, because I feel like that's a pretty big advantage for some of these quarterbacks.
Because all of a sudden then they turn around and slide it and the guy just flying over the top of them. Yeah, I kind of like that one.
Yeah.
I do.
Jackson?
But theoretically, a running back can give themselves up as well. And so it's really just a style of running that quarterbacks run differently than running backs. When you pass the line of scrimmage, you are a running back. Quarterbacks just give themselves up, so I don't know how you would really outlaw a slide.
I think that if the defender's here's what I would say. If the defender's in the air before you slide, already making his tackle, or at least has his head down, I don't think anything that happens after that should not be a penalty. His head's already down. He can't see you.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, let's go to Anton, who wants to talk about his rule change. Anton, what you changing?
Man, the rule that I would change, because I've heard a lot of people recently talking about how the NFL's getting soft and specifically aiming towards the NHL. I think you should allow a fight to happen in these NFL games. Like, we love watching Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore used to go at it back in the day, but all of a sudden they would get tossed out the game. I say allow 1 fight per half, 1-on-1 like the NHL, and then it's just a 5-minute timeout, just like it is in there. It's based on your possession. So if you're an offensive guy, you're out for 5 minutes on the offensive side of the ball. Love you guys.
Hey, I like it. I like the idea of people getting a little crazy with it, saying, allow a fight 1 per half, designate one person to be the helmet swinger, and stuff like that. I think that's exciting. That's fun. It's just fun. I know it's impossible, but it's
right.
Fun.
No. I in theory, I like the idea.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's a little different than hockey is. You got 10 guys versus 11 guys. And just imagine now you don't have your left tackle. So then now all of a sudden you've kind of opened up the window to get your quarterback blasted. So yeah, it sounds cool and all, but I just think you can't do it.
How about this? Let players play. Like in his example, he used not Cortland Finnegan, but that's who came to my mind. Cortland Finnegan, Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
But Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans, right? Let them play. If pass interference does not matter for them too. What do you think about that? Something like that. We're close, but not all the way there on that rule. But I think we can modify his rule and include like hand fighting, a little bit of elbowing, whatever.
Oh, well, yeah. But as long as you're not like hands to the face and stuff like that, because, well, I can't say what they call it. But, you slap a guy, really hard. I mean, now we at a whole nother level because they tape their hands all up, especially the lineman, the D-line and O-line. And so that could cause some serious problems there.
Let's go to Chad, who wants to change a rule. Chad, what's your rule change?
All right, gentlemen. My rule change is, concussions and whatnot have been a hot button issue the past, 10 years or so. I catch a lot of flack over this opinion, but I think it makes sense. You guys ever watch rugby?
Yeah.
Okay. Take the helmets away.
Oh, God.
How many hard head-to-head hits are you really going to see if you take the helmets away?
I don't know, but you just made my head hurt thinking about it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have said that way, guys, and then will keep their head up
Yeah.
because you're not going to lead with your head. And there's something to that, too, by the way.
I mean, he may be onto something, but that does make me cringe a little bit because and the reason why it's like when you see stuff on TV, you feel it sometimes, and like I'm just imagining a head-to-head hit, and it's like I'm imagining the pain already on my head.
It eventually would happen. And then now you're saying no pads because you can't have no helmet and then have shoulder pads and other pads.
I like that we went from all the pads to now we're getting close to no pads. And we got fights in the middle of it. Let's go to Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what do you want to change?
Kenny.
Hello, friends, especially if they go to an 18-game season.
Yeah.
A 65-man roster, no going up and down. Everybody's eligible, even if you have to designated 9 or 10 guys as only special teams guys. But it's funny, if you read the book Next Man Up, where they followed the Ravens for a whole year, each week the coaches get in a room and spend an hour or two. I got to have an extra tight end this week. No, he can't cover special teams. We need an extra safety, depending on who you're playing and everything. Just have 65 guys, make everybody eligible. And if you notice, a lot of first and second teamers have to play special teams. If those extra guys are playing special teams, it'll improve the play of the regular players because they won't be so tired. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, good one, Kenny.
I think that's a great one.
Yeah, I've been a big proponent on increasing the rosters because you continually increase games, which I think is going to get to 20. I think you got to.
Oh, my God, 20 games sounds so unreal.
Yeah, they're going to do 20 games and 2 buys.
Yeah.
That is going to get to too much money to be made out there, so that's going to happen. It's no different than the college football playoffs and all that. So.
Kenny's on to something, though. If you're going to increase the games, if I'm the NFLPA, I would already be asking for a extra bye week, even at 18 games. But I would also be asking for more players on the roster. Because then you're getting more players paid a higher rate than just being on the practice squad to be on the roster. But you're also giving the guys, the veterans and stuff, the older guys, a little bit more rest as well and chances of rest. I'm all in. NFLPA probably isn't smart enough to think like that, but we'll see. Let's go to Josh, who wants to talk about a rule change. Josh, what you got?
Hey, my thing is with the kickoff, instead of moving the ball forward to the 35 if it's kicked into the end zone, why don't we move the kicker back? Even if we change how they line up, like the kicker, let's just say, for instance, if the kicker kicks at the 10 and the lineup is, they're allowed to be, even as far as the 15, I know it puts them ahead of the ball, but they're still not allowed till it kicks. But if you move the kicker back, well, I don't understand the problem with that.
I agree. I think you're onto something there, too, because, they moved it up. 10 years ago, it feels like now. And I'm like, why not move it back? Why are we creating all these field zones and all these different other rules? Move them back to force to return. I'm with Josh. This seems like common sense.
Well, see, what you guys are missing is the illusion of that the NFL wants to say that we're trying to be safe. So we move the kicker up because if you move him back, now we will get more returns.
Gotcha.
See, that makes too much sense. So they want the illusion that we're trying to protect the player.
Gotcha.
When in reality, this is entertainment.
Yeah.
And as fans, and especially being a fan of the game, you want to see that. You want to see the big hits.
Okay, as Ryan in the chat says, take away illegal formation. Who cares how many people are on the line of scrimmage? Maybe Blaine can explain what the advantages are that call for the rule. So what is the advantage for having as many players or as little players as you want on the line of scrimmage?
Oh, crap. Sometimes you don't even know who it is. I think it's when you're trying to do a trick formation. Let's say you have 2 linemen and then which guy is eligible. That's the last lineman on the line. And then the guy is ineligible and it's 4 guys the other way. And we call that unbalanced line. So that's when they're trying to trick you and the guy on the shorter side is actually the guy eligible. That happens sometimes. But as far as just normal lineup and some guy they forget to, I think it happened to the Titans. They forgot to line up on the line just in a regular formation. That's nothing. But
so we were talking about Sony's Hawkeye first down thing, the technology they're using for first downs now. Just so everybody knows, this came down from the ESPN NFL Twitter account.
It's breaking news?
Sort of breaking news, I guess. It was breaking news 26 minutes ago. I saw it, and we kind of already talked about, but there's a little bit more clarity here. The method for measuring first downs in the NFL will switch from chain gangs to the camera-based technology in 2025. It is the priority way. This new technology is the priority way. It's not coming in as if there's confusion or anything like that. It is the main way.
Wow.
The traditional chain crew will remain on the sidelines in a secondary capacity. So they are the backup plan.
Gotcha.
And then, whereas I thought the technology would be the backup plan, the humans are now the backup plan. The robots are taking our jobs.
Yeah. All those guys up there holding the chains.
Yep.
This is their last year.
Let's go to Dylan real quick, who has a rule change. Dylan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yeah, I think I probably have the worst rule in all of sports, not just football. The fumbling into your own end zone, and somehow, some way, the other team ends up with the ball. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what would be a good change, maybe, but definitely keeping that same team with the ball, I think, is the start.
Yeah, that is a rule I'm surprised that nobody's brought up, because that's the rule that, and whenever it happens, everybody hates it. But I'm going to tell you why I like it. Hold on to the ball.
No, I thought you were going to say after the break.
No, well, I can tell you after the break again, but that's just what's plain and simple. It's like the Cam Ward. Remember when the Cam Ward Superman quarterback sneak happened here at Tennessee, and then some old woman, wrote a letter to the Commercial Appeal and talked about all that crap about Cam Ward and all this stuff. And I'm like, the defense, if you don't want him. Cam Ward. Cam Newton.
Oh, okay. I was going to
oh, my gosh. I got Cam Ward on the brain. Been talking too much Cam Ward. Cam Newton. And then they wrote that letter and all that stuff. And I'm like, and then the defenders got mad at him and started pushing. I'm like, well, if you didn't want him to celebrate and do his normal Superman pose that he does all the time,
keep him scoring.
Stop him.
Yeah.
And if you don't want the fumble on the end zone to be a rule, tell your running backs and your players not to fumble the ball. That's where I'm at. What do you think?
Yeah, you talking about fumbling the ball out of the end zone?
Yeah, out of the end zone.
Oh, no, being a defensive guy, they got to bring that thing back.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not with it. Sorry, Charlie. Hang on to the ball. That's no different than you have to get 2 feet down to make it a completion. So that's kind of how I view it.
Oh, when we come back, we'll get to Quentin and Nick, and we'll also get to the interview of Buck with the Titans GM and what he had to say in a private sit-down interview with Buck Rising. Oh, and sorry.
Coach Mack.
Sorry, we got Coach Mack at 220. I totally forgot what day it was. We got Coach Mack at 220. We'll talk to him about some rule changes, what he would want to change.
Quick too,
we'll get Quentin and Nick on the way back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here, 105 The Zone.
Have you noticed how unreliable things have become these days? Like when someone tells you it'll be ready at 4 p.m. and it's not. People are really tired of that stuff. So if you've had it with the unreliable vehicle repair shops, come on over to Eurofix. And Eurofix turns unreliable into reliable. And Eurofix has your vehicle ready when it's really ready so you don't have to stand around waiting all freaking day. And Eurofix also repairs all European cars with quality that beats the dealer and without the dealer pricing. And that's because dealer repair shops are designed to pay virtually all of the dealership's overhead. And that's a lot of money. So why would you want to pay for that? At Eurofix, reliable also means 3-year nationwide warranty plus a free loaner car with every repair appointment. So make sure you call ahead as loaner cars are very, very popular. So if you're tired of the unreliable repair shops, come on over to Reliable, and that would be Eurofix, family owned for 26 years. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always don't blame you.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. Coach Mack will be joining us shortly, but as we said, we'd get to Quentin and Nick about the changes that they would make to the NFL rules.
Gotcha.
So, Quentin, we'll start with you. What rule would you change?
The rule I would change, no first string allowed to play in overtime. All second string, let somebody else step up and prove themselves. Everybody sit down and leave it up to the backups to do it.
Now, why that rule?
So somebody else can catch the spotlight. Somebody else can get out there. They all ain't great, but somebody else is good enough to take somebody's place on the first string.
Now, Quentin, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Were you a backup in all the sports that you played?
I don't know.
All right.
But what do you think about the coaches thinking about the coaches paying the big money to the starters, and then you're putting the guys who are the minimum wage players out there?
I understand you got to earn your position, but give them a chance to. They only get them a chance to in practice. Let them play in the real game when it counts.
All right.
Good. Now, Quentin said he was a starter all through high school. You think he would come off the field for a backup?
You should.
If we didn't have to get to Coach Mack, I would ask that. Quentin, you can call back and answer that. Put that in the F&M Bank chat on Zone TV, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Nick, what's the rule change you would get?
I've got ineligible receiver upfield.
I'm with you. We covered that at the top of the show, so I'm glad I finally got a supporter on that one.
Yeah,
so
that's my biggest pet peeve. I hate watching a 50-yard play and then it gets called back because some dude stumbled a couple extra feet. Let's get over that.
Yeah, I like it. It's always by accident. That's how it's always by accident. Yeah, it's always by accident for those offensive linemen.
Dave Jackson, offensive lineman.
All right. It's Tuesday. It's a little bit after 2:20 p.m., but we heard the song in the top. It's time for Coach Mack and for his weekly Mack Attack, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. And Mack, what is one rule? This is the topic we've been talking about. What is one rule that you would change in the NFL?
Well, first of all, how are we doing this afternoon, guys?
We're doing good. Awesome, Coach.
The one that bothers me, and I know it bothers Blaine there because he's a defensive guy, but I can't stand illegal contact away from the ball being an automatic first down.
I like it. Oh,
man. Oh, yeah, boy. My rookie year, boy, they got me all over the place. God. I was like, dude, I didn't even touch the guy.
I mean, that's just a brutal penalty. I mean, the other more brutal penalty is the 45-yard defensive pass interference.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean those two though change courses of games so quickly because that automatic first down, if you've got them stopped and then away from the play, there's illegal contact. I mean that makes it nuts, drives you crazy. Anyway,
I'm with you on that. Talking about these rule changes that happened, they're going to a eye in the sky, this computer technology to determine first downs, or at least the placement of the ball and all that kind of stuff. And the chain gang is now secondary. Do you think they're moving a little too quick on that? Because I feel like it should be the technology should be secondary, and the guys should still be primary.
You know what, Zach? They've already test run. They were test running this thing last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They're not just pulling it out, brand new. The thing they've got though, I mean, there are 6 8K cameras that they're going to use for this. Everybody has to be set up in the stadium. It took a while to get that technology set up too, but there's going to be 6 8K cameras. They're going to be on the tracking part of it, but the chains are still going to be there as a backup. The issue that they're having with that technology is it can tell where the ball is, but it can't tell where the body part is down, whether the knee is down or the elbow is down before the ball goes down, because it can't track the body parts. So they're still working on that. But I like the fact that they're going to bring it in and take a look at it, and then still have the change there, for the backup. But I like the fact that they're finally going to unveil it.
The owners' meeting is going on. Obviously, the Titans have the first overall pick. I'm sure trade talks and stuff are happening. How much are they really talking and trying to sell this first round pick while they're down there? How many of those kinds of discussions happen on a daily basis when there are so many things on the table with these rule changes?
Well, you can have a lot of conversations down there. I'm not sure they're not trying to sell anything, but they're as they say, they're open for business. But you're not trying to peddle it. Again, it's like you're not trying to compete against yourself. But they stated openly that they are open for business as they proceed in vetting all of these players that will be a possibility for that number one choice. And so, but conversation wise, I've been deep inside for these things as a head coach, and so you've got plenty of chances to sit and talk with people when you're down there because everybody's down there. Now, when you get into the various meetings, there are various meetings that are subsets of the big group. You have a big general meeting where it's the head coach, and then there's two primaries that used to be from every club, and then you've got a big general session where you've got everybody's in there with the competition committee. So there's different types of sessions, but throughout the time you're down there, and they're already done. The meetings are done now. It used to be, when we first started this, when I first started being involved in it, it was a week, really 5 days. They've taken it down to a 3-day deal, but you have a chance because everybody is in there. If you want to have a private conversation or if you want to meet somewhere and go face to face and you are wanting to talk about some possibilities in the draft, those possibilities are wide open down there.
We're on with Coach Mack of Titans Radio. He's brought to you by the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford.
Yeah, Coach, kind of take us through, give us an example at the owners' meeting, what a head coach, when you're a head coach, when you would go down there, what would be the objective of, let's say, sitting in a rule meeting change to what else? Kind of give us, a Cliff Note version of what it's like to be a head coach at these things. I know the media's kind of ratcheted up more down here. Before, it wasn't as much media in the beginning. Now it's kind of gotten a lot more media there. But kind of take us through your responsibilities as a head coach when you're down there compared to, I guess, the owners there.
Well, first of all, as I said, there are meetings where you're together, where it's the head coach, it's the commissioner, and then all the various committees that they have. You'll have those meetings, and you'll be with two principal owners. They don't want the room just jam packed. Okay. Then they'll have other ones where they have. My first shot at it was when they had. It was the reorganization of we were in the NFC East with the Cardinals, and they were reorganized into divisions.
Oh,
and so that was a big meeting. Ooh. That's a big meeting, and there was a lot of discussions, but as to where they reorganized all the divisions.
Well, who leads those meetings though? Who starts the conversation? Is it the commissioner? And then does he go around the table? I want to know details.
It's a huge room. It's a huge room, and it's set up. There's microphones all around the room, and if you want to speak, you have to get up and walk up to the microphone that's standing up. They had that meeting in one of the ballrooms I was set up in the head table's clear at the end of the ballroom, and then it was like a U shape with people in a horseshoe shape, type of a table sitting around it. And then when you vote, you vote alphabetically. But if you wanted to speak, then you had to get up out of your chair, go to the microphone, and stand and address not only the commissioner, but address the rest of the room. That's how that works. Then you've got meetings where it's just the head coaches. You've got meetings where it's just the owners. Also, the thing that you have there as a head coach, the AFC and the NFC have different days set for breakfast, where they set the breakfast up in a huge place, and you have a table for each coach, and each head coach has a table, and then all the media that's there come in and are able to eat breakfast, and then those are a lot of the things that you hear when you get all of those sound bites coming out of it. That's a huge place where everybody's having breakfast and all of the reporters from everywhere, all the media from everywhere can go from table to table. One day for the NFC, one day for the AFC. So there's a lot of different things that go on, at that meeting.
No doubt about it. With Coach Mack giving us the Mack attack. Coach, I want to ask you about these, SFL, and it seems like I'm going to call them spring leagues for the NFL.
Yeah.
It seems like, it's becoming a developmental league. How much is that kind of getting to that point where it's developing players or more so filling holes when guys get injured or for training camp? And how many of those guys are actually really getting opportunities a month after their season is over?
Well, I think there was about 45 guys that went to camps last year. Now that's a 90-man roster, right? And of course, so I mean, if just one or two make it, well, then they, Moose Johnson and those guys feel like it's very, very successful. The other thing is that I like about it, and I think it's very, very important because we lost this aspect. And again, I've been in this league long enough to when I remember when we used to have NFL Europe. It was a great training ground and proving ground for officials. I mean, that was a huge, huge advantage. That's what this league now is happening. In fact, there are some first year officials in the league that are going to the United Football League right now to be able to still hone their skills. That is a big, big part of it because that was a huge advantage of NFL Europe is being able to have officials still be able to work and hone their craft before they were admitted into the National Football League.
All right, Coach. Well, I'm going to give you I know you got your big board ready to go, so this is going to be a combined question, but same position group, so it shouldn't be that complex here. Give me your top 3 cornerbacks, and then give me, some mid to late round guys that are really interesting to you, whatever guys you want to mention at that position. Is a cornerback.
Travis Hunter. These are the top guys. Travis Hunter, Will Johnson from Michigan, and Siobhan Ravel from East Carolina. Even though he got the ACL, that's a good-looking dude. You go back and watch him when he was healthy. So those are my top 3. Then the next group, let's go to the next pod. Jahdae Barron from Texas, Azare Thomas II from Florida State, Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky. I mean, this is a guy that, I think will end up being a second-round player that's a pretty good player. That next third pod, now you're going down into late day 2, early day 3, Quincy Riley from Louisville, Trey Amos from Ole Miss, Kobe Bryant, who ran a really fast time at the Combine from Kansas, and Jacob Parrish from Kansas State. I can go a little further down, Damian Porter from Iowa State. There's another kid from Kansas named Melo Dotson. That's enough of them.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Coach Mack giving us the corner breakdown on the big board.
When you're talking about the big board and the pods, something that has been popping into my mind lately is the Titans' lack of a third-round pick. Obviously,
that hurts.
It hurts.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Zach.
No.
That hurts because of this. But from their second pick to their fourth pick, there's about 70 slots.
Oh, I thought it was.
That's a lot of players.
Yeah.
That's a lot of players.
A ton of players.
That's a big, as we call it, that's a big spread. That's a big gap right there.
Yeah, you gambler, you.
Right.
So when you got depth at a certain position, but it's high end depth like at at wide receiver and edge, and those are 2 spots Tennessee Titans currently kind of really need, edge more so. At what point do you, when you're making that decision, a 2.35 and nobody will trade with you, so you can't trade back to pick up a third rounder or maybe another pick along the way? How do you decide between edge and wide receiver if edge is a little bit deeper but wide receiver is a little bit less talented but also has less depth? Like, do you just go best player available and pray that in round 4 a wide receiver falls to you? Or how do you reconcile the big board without having a third round pick?
Well, I mean, if everything else stays static, then as those names start coming off the board and you start looking at your board up there, that's where the horizontal part comes into your evaluation. And what you'll do is about 8 to 10, 12 minutes before your pick, then you'll start saying, okay, let's put our players up there in the bullpen that we're considering at all positions. You talked about edge and wide receiver. Let's put the wide receivers and the edge up there. Let's take a look at them and see. Not only let's read the reports vertically, and then let's compare them horizontally as to who the more quality player is at the time there. That's why you put together a vertical and a horizontal board. If nothing else happens, if the whole board stays static and stays stationary, that's why you have it like that. So you're comparing values. You're comparing values not only position-wise, but also horizontally in reference to everything else that's on the board.
Okay, so got a little off the wall question for you, but as you know, Buck Rising's been down at West Palm Beach and everything for the owners meeting, doing some great coverage down there and all that. But he paid $50 for a donut this morning for breakfast. Is there any kind of donut that you would pay $50 for, and how big would it have to be?
First of all, they saw him coming in there.
So you say he's a sucker?
They say, this dude looks like a tourist, so we're going to get him here. I mean, and to the second part of your question, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can get just as full on a $1.50 donut as you can on a $50 one.
Oh, man, I just couldn't believe it when I saw it, because, I mean, I'm wondering how – we haven't seen a picture of this donut, but he took one probably for Instagram. But, how big does it have to be for you? I mean, I just couldn't imagine. I mean, I don't even think a 12-inch donut would do it for me.
Yeah, well, it could not be big enough. I mean, you can buy 4 dozen for $50.
Yeah, I mean, that is insane. To go back to football just real quick, the pro day and everything, obviously they sent a big contingent to Cam Ward's pro day, a lesser contingent. There's going to be a few people not showing up for the pro day for Shedeur Sanders, but they're going to have a private workout. What's more important, the private workout or the pro days?
It's a private workout because you orchestrate the private workout. I mean, as a team, I've done both, for a lot of years. You go to the big one, and especially but the big one, you don't have any control over it. None. There's 31 other teams there. I mean, you have no control. The private workout, you've got total control over it. So that is the most important one.
Well, we appreciate. Never mind.
One more, Coach. Considering that I was a safety, give me your top 3 safeties. I definitely wasn't a first-round safety, so I didn't meet any of the measurables. So, kind of take us through some of these guys. A handful of guys that you think are in the top, 2 rounds.
You may have not been a first-round safety, but you ended up playing like one for a long time.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach, man.
Well, it's true. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't say it.
Thank you. I know you wouldn't.
All right, safeties. Malachi Starks. Nick Emenwar, Malachi Starks from Georgia, Nick Emenwar from South Carolina, just going off the top of my head. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, Kevin Winston from Penn State, Andrew Makuba from Texas. I like that player. I'm in the 3rd pod now. The 4th pod, a kid named Sebastian Castro from Iowa, Lathan Ransom from Ohio State, Billy Bowman from Oklahoma.
Yeah. I like him.
Is going to be drafted. He's a pretty decent player. Here's a guy that I like, and I don't know whether he's going to play safety, whether he's going to play nickel, but I like him as a football player, is Upton Stout from Western Kentucky.
Yeah, the short guy. Yeah, he's tough.
But I like him.
Before we let you go, I want to go around the room real quick, because there was a question that was posed in the chat, and I think it's very important. Do we think that Buck ate that donut with a fork and knife? I'm going to say yes.
Absolutely he did. He eats a hamburger with a fork and a knife.
Yes.
I'll go back to my original statement when they start and they say,
Sucker.
"Here comes a tourist right here. All right, let's put the $50 sign up for this thing. We'll give him all the forks and knives he wants to eat, as long as he'll pay $50 for
I think it
Love
was
it.
French fries is what it was.
Yeah, I love it. Coach Mack, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having fun, Coach.
Like talking ball with you guys.
Love
See
it.
ya.
That was Coach Mack of Titans Radio, brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, South's most trusted Ford dealer. And we come back, if you guys want to call in, NFL rule change that you would like to have. If not, we'll talk about a little bit more about Buck because he had an interview with the Titans general manager. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Struggling with joint pain? Suffering from a recent injury? Looking to recover faster after surgery? Well, at Edge, we've got you covered. From powerful peptide stacks like BPC 157 or TB 500 to PRP treatment, stem cell therapy, and high film muscle stimulation, Edge Peptide is your go-to solution for faster healing and recovery. And as an athlete myself, I know how frustrating pain and injuries can be. That's why now is the perfect time to take control of your wellness and finally address those nagging issues. Whether it's golf, tennis, or any activity you love, don't let pain hold you back any longer. And Edge specializes in regenerative treatments designed to reduce inflammation, promote tissue repair, and improve mobility and helping your body heal naturally while avoiding surgery whenever possible. And right now, we're offering a free $250 consultation with your initial treatment. And all you have to do is just go to edgepeptide.com. Yes, that's edgepeptide.com. If not, you can just give them a call at 615-724-1878. That's 724-1878.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. If you want to call in, this is your last chance. Tell us what NFL rule that you would change currently that makes you mad. Mm-hmm. All right. I want to get to the Titans general manager's interview with Buck, but first, I want to read you this quote because I think you're going to like this quote. Mm. This is from Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network, who interviewed Memphis wide receiver Rock Taylor. And I'm not just reading this because it is a Memphis wide receiver.
That means that you are.
But a favorite of teams in the day 3 wide receiver bucket.
Okay.
He had one of my favorite quotes of the cycle so far in regards to contested catches. Yeah. Quote, "It ain't a 50-50 ball. It's 100% my ball. I got a family to feed, and if that defensive back is trying to stop me and trying to get where I want to get, that's a problem. It's 100% mine every time the ball is in the air." He's 6'3", and he's met with the Commanders and 49ers and has virtual meetings scheduled with the Cowboys later this afternoon. Just thought that was a cool quote. I like that quote. It's mine. So there are no 50-50 balls, 100% balls. I don't think a lot of wide receivers...
You don't think they think that?
I don't know, because if maybe they think it, they just can't do it. maybe that's what it is.
Well, I mean,
I like that. I got a family to feed line.
Oh,
I like that line.
Well, if I was listening to that part I would value a lot, because guess what? He has a lot at stake here, so it's serious to him. Mm-hmm. He has a family to feed. It's a little different when you don't have other options. And, you're like, yeah, well, I love football. But no, do you really love football?
And that's what the Tennessee Titans have been trying to find throughout this process. They've said that for a few years now, but, under Vrabel is a little spotty if they drafted guys that love football. Speaking of guys that will be drafting people, we got Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi
from Boston,
who was on with Buck at the noon hour to do a interview. And I'm going to start off with this clip about J.C. Latham moving to the right side. This is Mike Bergonzi on with Buck.
I think so. We all, did Jason coming out of college. He played right tackle, and he played left tackle last year and he was fine. But I think he's probably more natural on the right. And we had an opportunity to bring in a veteran who's played 4 years left tackle in the league. He's young, he's durable. It's things that Dan has to clean up, and he will. I think he's still improving as a player, so we felt good about that.
I do like that they approached this offseason with the flexibility to either keep J.C. Latham at left tackle or move him to right tackle. I don't think a lot of teams would have done that. I think a lot of teams would have said, we drafted you to be left tackle. We told you were going to be, we told everybody that you were going to be left tackle. We believe in you. We're going to keep you there. But I actually kind of do like the idea that they were like, we're going to find the best tackle available to us. And if that means that guy's a left tackle, we're going to move you to right.
Well, I think this is, perfect timing in that he's still a young player. Mm-hmm. And it's the position he actually played in college at Alabama, as you would know. So, but he played left tackle in college, so he is capable, as we saw last year. But there was some faults there towards the end of the season. Could have been wear and tear, just running into the long part of the season, which is tough. So, hey, I'm glad they had the opportunity in their minds to get a young player who's still on the uptick. That's kind of what I felt when he was talking there, and that J.C. Latham could solidify the right side. So, yeah, Great decision there. Another correction on a Rand Carthon draft pick.
That is true.
Or,
next, the Titans general manager, Mike Bergonzi. Man, I knew it. I knew he couldn't do it twice in this segment.
From Boston.
No, that does not count.
Yeah. Man, I knew he couldn't do it.
We're keeping strikes and
yeah.
I had the audio queued up for the next quote.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
it's always something different.
Guess what the coach just said to you? Come over here, young man. Come on and stand next to me.
He's taking himself out. He's pulling in Anthony Richardson and taking himself out. We're going to put Joseph in. All right. Why did they make the free agency quarterback decisions that they have made? Here's Bergonzi.
We went through, the auctions in free agency at quarterback, and, we felt good bringing Brandon in. He had experience with Brian in Cincinnati. He knows the offense. He's been a really good backup in the league for a while. young quarterback in Will who's still growing. And then bringing Tim in, so he's been a quality backup in the league for years. So just going through the process, evaluating the free agent quarterbacks as well as the college quarterbacks. We felt good, making those moves we did.
Okay, so not a lot of insight, but I do think it's interesting that they do speak a little bit highly of Brandon Allen, his experience, and that's obviously something that we picked up on. But I do want to use this clip to ask you this. When you have a hard time hearing something in the car, do you lean in closer to your radio? Or do you,
No, I just turn the volume up.
I do that. Like, I literally, listening to that clip, I'm moving closer to my microphone trying to think that it actually helps me hear.
Because I felt like it was far away. I did. I actually what did he say?
I'm like leaning in and, Buck's been on radio now. Can we not get a little bit better microphone production on his end on these interviews?
You didn't get it.
From Boston.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I'm going to go watch Allen play. He's played like 6 games he started?
Yeah, 6 games, 6 or 7.
How many games how many years he's been in the league?
2019. He's been playing games since 2019 in the regular season, but I believe he's been in the league 2016. If I'm not mistaken. And I may be thinking of Tim Boyle's 20. I picture Pro Football Reference's stat sheet in my head when you ask me these questions, and I may be thinking of Tim Boyle's stat sheet. But, he's been in the league at least since 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think I ever recall him ever starting any time.
Yeah.
So that I've never seen him play. So I'm going to have to watch him because him saying, Brian Callahan is, he knows his system. So he must trust this guy that in a crunch, this guy can be a backup quarterback. He thinks he can go out there and perform if they go forward with Cam and then him in the backup. And if he's struggling or he gets injured, that's who you're going to put out there? Or is it going to be Will Levis? See, so that's where I'm trying to go here with or is he just here to filter to help Cam or whatever young quarterback, which would probably be Cam, through difficult times and understanding the offense. So I'm just always curious. I'm always curious when a coach says they're bringing in a player to help other players. Well, I want to say, well, what is your job? What is actually your job?
Yeah.
That's not actually the job of the player.
Right. Because you got the quarterback coach, right? You got the offensive coordinator who's not really offensive coordinating technically.
I get it. You get a veteran guy kind of can translate. But that was kind of one of the first things they said.
And I guess my thing is and maybe this is a discussion for another show, is like, if it's learning to be a pro, do you want him to learn from Brandon Allen? Or would you rather him learn from, again, someone with more experience like Joe Flacco?
And guess what? That carries weight in the locker room. A guy who has ilk in this league, whether he's at the end of his career or not, that carries a lot of weight.
I've never met Brandon Allen. Don't know what kind of leader he is. But, I'd have to I think it's safe to say that Joe Flacco's probably a better presence in the locker room.
Way more weight when he says something.
Well, he is an elite Super Bowl quarterback, so there you go. That'll do it for us. 3HL's up next has been covered 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time.
Peace.
Bergonzi.
From Boston.